Is the Xbox One going to fail in Japan just like the Xbox 360 did? Well, Microsoft says they're committed to the Japanese market. But before we get to this video, let's get to the question of the day. Alright, so stay tuned to the end of this video to find out the answer to the question of the day. Japan is a very important region for any gaming company that really wants to do this. Any major video game console creator, anybody that has a system that they want that to succeed and want that to essentially build and continue to be marketed and people to keep buying it. Japan is one of those top places. It's one of the largest gaming markets and gaming industry. It's one of the largest regions you can market your system towards because there's a lot of gamers over there. The economy, the gaming culture, but it's gonna be tough for Microsoft to actually gain some sort of foothold and actually move beyond what they're actually at right now. I mean, it's gonna be tough for them to somehow directly compete with the Sonys and the Nintendos of the world in the Japanese region, even with this new Xbox One. If the original Xbox sort of failed and didn't really connect with the audiences there, and the 360 failed as well. As a matter of fact, I believe the Xbox 360 has been discontinued, even though it's not the end of its lifespan quite yet, but yeah, it's been discontinued in some of the retailers over there in Japanese region because it just doesn't sell that much. It's sort of like a very similar to what happened to the Sega systems, like the Dreamcast, for example. Just being discontinued over there, not really selling that well. The Sega Saturn, there's another example, but I think that the Xbox 360, because of its massive success in Western countries, pretty much gained its own following, and it pretty much was able to survive, and not just that, thrive in an otherwise sort of a non-Japanese accepted console. It's like they didn't really get into it. It's all about Sony and Nintendo over there, and it's just tough. I can understand why. That's the homeland of Sony and Nintendo. That's where all those franchises started. The fucking Marios of the world, the Metal Gears of the world, and many other exclusives. I shouldn't say exclusives, but Japanese originated franchises. Microsoft, they tried, they actually tried a little bit. They had a few I would say Xbox exclusives that marketed to Japanese. You got the Dead or Alive stuff, Ninja Gaiden stuff. But that's Microsoft's deal, is that really, if you take a look at their games or exclusives, it's mostly westernized games. It's mostly English, origin games. You got the Fables, the Gears of War, the Halos, Call of Duties. Even though it's not, it's a third-party type of game, but a lot of these English-speaking games, a lot of these non-Japanese originated games, it's more of a Western system. So, I mean, you don't see a lot of exclusives for the 360 that's like more Japanese-oriented, or Japanese-originated, so it sort of makes sense. That's hilarious to me, though. It's kind of weird how, one region, it just doesn't accept that console that much. I mean, I've met some Japanese gamers that actually played the 360, that own the 360. They're 360 players, but it's really not that, it's not as common, not nearly as common as the Sony brands, because, like I said, I mean, it's all because of the fucking established franchises. I think it's because of everything. It's the surrounding culture. It's the Japanese, I think, tend to support their own, and more importantly, stuff that they grew up on. And then, the whole Red Ring of Death thing didn't even help. That was another blow to sort of the consumer wariness of buying the 360 and supporting it. The Xbox 360 only sold around 1.5 million units from 2005 to 2011 in Japan. The original Xbox actually sold around 2 million when it was active on the market. So for 3 years, 2002 to 2005, a couple of million units sold. So do I think that the Xbox One is going to gain any sort of foothold in the Japanese market? I don't think so. I think it's going to continue the same trend. You know, it's going to be the same level of non-interest that they have over there because PS4's out, the Wii U's out, and these people are just going to keep buying the Japanese origin systems because that's the quality that they trust and that's the brand names that they've been trained to actually buy into. Microsoft, on the other hand, and the Xbox brand, it's not that big. I mean, it's very, very small. I mean, you're talking about 2 million units sold for the Xbox, and 360 even less with 1.5 million. You're not going to convert any of those people. You know, I assume the Xbox One is going to sell anywhere between 1 million to 2 million, maybe even more. But it's not gonna sell that much. It's not going to break away from that very niche audience that want to try something Western or different. You know, it's not gonna sell. It's not gonna be successful, basically. All right. So this was the answer to the question of the day.